everyone. Happy Monday. For a lot of people who are on the Northeast, you are shoveling yourselves out of the situation. I know that is true for me. And so I just want to say hello. My name is Janelle. Welcome to the Janelle Villiers Podcast, where I am your host. And we are all about how to help people write their books, how do you edit the books, how do you self-publish the books, all the things. That is what I'm here to help you guys figure out. Sometimes I also interview other authors, so you guys can hear from other authors and their journey. And I also love to talk to people who haven't written their book yet, but their story needs to be shared. So I'm really excited to be with you today. If you are joining me for the first time, go ahead and put a 1 in the comments. That way I can shout you out. I love to shout out all of my newcomers. And if this is not your first time, if you've been here before, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. I love to shout out all of my people who've been here before, my returnees. And so you guys know how I do this. I usually have a topic and we discuss the topic in detail. So that way you guys can get the answers that you have been looking for. So today's topic is, why is it that smart entrepreneurs never finish their books? This is a great question. And I know there's a lot of you out there who have books that you want to write. And you're like, I know, I need to write the book. And there's actually a couple of reasons why this doesn't happen. And I want to help you. So that way, if you are an entrepreneur out there and you're like, yeah, I know I need to get this book done, I want to help you. So that way you actually get it done, because I know the amount of people that you're going to impact on the other end of your book, on the other side of having your book written. And so let's do that. Let's help you with your mindset. So that way we can get you to get your book done. How about this year? How about in 2026, you go ahead and help people with your book this year? So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and put a Y in the comment section. And then as I continue to read the different steps, please write your comments, write your questions also in the comments. If this is providing value for you, go ahead and put a V in the comments. That way I can know that this is providing value as I continue. So let's start off with the first point. You guys know I always have notes because I don't want you to miss a thing. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is that smart entrepreneurs overthink the book instead of writing it. This is something you can probably relate to if you're listening to me. As an entrepreneur, this is something that we do. We're trained to optimize, to analyze, make forecasts and make predictions for where things are going to go. And this is super powerful for your business, but it's like super dangerous when it comes to the early writing stages of your book. Super dangerous, right? Why is this? And that's because you're basically trying to solve the entire book before you even write a first page. You're trying to just like solve the thing. And it's like, wait, hold on. We need to write it. You're going to revise. You keep revising and revising and revising instead of just like getting to progress. And then you confuse like, oh, I'm revising, I'm thinking, I'm doing all of this. And you confuse that as movement towards getting your book done. No, I hear you. I get it. I am you. So this is not me pointing at you. This is more like knowing laughter. I have been here. I am like currently in this space and places, so I get it. You literally have to change your mindset and change the way that you think about this. And you need to understand that you have to write your first draft without thinking about it. You're not asking, is this going to work? Does this make sense? You just have to write what's in your head and get it out. What happens is the clarity that we're so trained to go after, it comes after you start writing. You can't plan for this. You can't like plan. I mean, you can plan and we can talk about that. But for a lot of us, we like over plan, right? We're like over strategizing, and you just need to write it, right? And then once it's written, you can go back and clarify and do all that. But honestly and truly, you just have to write it. This is huge, right? Okay. So the number 2 thing that I want to talk about is that writing a book forces identity decisions. Woo! This one's tough. So basically, a book makes you visible in a new way, and it really makes you have to define what you stand for. Yeah, I know some of you are like, oh, that's me, Janelle. You're hitting me right in the chest. I get it. You recognize that when you write this book, all of a sudden there's like this permanence about it. You know, it's going to last way after, you're gone. It's a part of your legacy almost, right? And so a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we stall when we're unsure who we're becoming. right? As we write this book. And so finishing almost feels like you're locking into a version of yourself that you're not sure if you want it, if that to be the version of you afterwards or in perpetuity. And so starting feels safe, but the finishing feels final, like too final, because you're like, wait, am I locking into this specific identity that maybe doesn't necessarily line up with who you are right now or who you want to be in the future? So here's what I want to remind you. A book captures who you are right now, not forever. Think about all the books that you've read from people who've written multiple books. Recently, I was watching an interview with Tony Robbins on The Diary of a CEO. Put DOAC in the comments if you have also seen this interview. It's an excellent interview. Great job, Stephen. If you ever, I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but if you ever watch this, great job, Stephen, on that interview. But Tony Robbins has written several books. And each of these books is like in a new position of his knowledge and awareness of different things, whether he's talking about mindset and how you can move through certain ways of viewing yourself, or he's talking about how to master money. I think he even has multiple versions of the money markets, how to master the game. I think that's what it's called. Hello, Samantha Francis. So yeah, like that's it's a really good example, right? And Tony Robbins currently has multiple different businesses that are making over $12 billion in revenue, right? So obviously a very successful entrepreneur. And if you're going to follow the footsteps of successful entrepreneurs, you can lean on the fact that each book doesn't mean that that's like who he is forever. Literally, each book is a new place and where he is in his own knowledge and his own expertise and his own wisdom, right? So it doesn't define who you are forever. It's just for right now. It's just capturing where you are right now. And then you can write more books that define where you are in that new space that you're in, right? In the future. Okay, so the third, if that really hit you, by the way, like if that was something that you're like, woo, I really understand that relates to me, go ahead and put an R for you can relate to that one. I know for me, that was big. Hi, Miro. Hello. Hi. Okay, so the third thing I wanted to talk about is that a lot of times entrepreneurs struggle with narrowing their message. Ooh. I know you want this book to be for everyone. And I get it. That was me too. I wanted my book to be for everyone. And so because you want it to be for everyone and everything, you kind of resist choosing one clear reader. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is like one of the biggest things that's holding you back. A broad message, it feels flexible, I get it, but it really slows down your progress and narrowing down your focus and getting clear on your focus. That way you can just get the book out. So what I want you to do, here's what I want you to do. I'm talking to you out there because that was kind of me, is pick one person that the book is for, just one. You can always write another book later. I just talked about this. You can write another book later, but for right now, I just wanted to pick that one person who this book is for and write to them. Believe it or not, there's going to be a lot of other people that are just like that one person, even though it doesn't seem like it right now. So just write for that one person. And then I know you have topics for other things. You're just going to write about that later. Okay, the fourth thing. I see Samantha's laughing. So this is relatable, huh? Okay, so the fourth thing is that fear sometimes shows up as productivity. And this one's a little bit tricky because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're busy, right? And like busy means that we're like doing things. There's a whole thing like booked and busy and all of that, right? But I think some of us actually stay busy to avoid finishing, right? So you're doing things like doing more research for the book. You're self-editing. Maybe you're doing the formatting, and this can become really distracting. I highly suggest that you outsource that. Please outsource that to Say That Publishing. We can help you do that. But other things like just kind of like the research, I think, is the biggest thing. We tend to want to research because you want to get it just right. And I think this busyness hides the discomfort that you're feeling in writing the book. And the closer that you get to the end, the more that you find to fix, right? And it keeps you busy, but it's not necessarily going to get you to the finish line. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start noticing when the work becomes essentially avoidance. You're starting to avoid writing the book. I want you to start noticing that. And I want you to understand that progress feels different than activity. Progress feels different than activity. You need to get the book done if you're going to impact the people that you've been called to impact. So I need you to actually make progress. It's different than activity. All right. If that one really did something for you, got to put a 4 in the comments, because then I'll know that number 4 really resonated with you. Okay. The fifth thing that I wanted to talk about is that finishing requires structure, not motivation. Oh my God. This is not just for entrepreneurs. This is for so many people. But let me just say this. Motivation fluctuates. There are going to be times where you feel super motivated. And then there are going to be some times where, honest to God, you just do not. There's a blizzard outside. You just want to sit on your couch, get in some blankets, curl up with your loved ones, and like not worry about that book right now. Motivation literally is like lotion. It wears off. It wears off. And so you can't count on that to get your book done. But what you can count on are systems and things that you put in place. So I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we rely on the inspiration, but that's, again, it's not going to work. It wears off. And so you want to really look at structure. You want to look at systems. And with those, that's how you get the book done. Without those, the book just becomes deprioritized. It's like, oh, it's not a priority. It's not a priority because I got this and I got this. You need to make a schedule, right? I know this because I'm an entrepreneur too. My calendar is my boss. If it's not on my calendar, it's not getting done. So you need to put it in your calendar that you're going to spend time writing it. Create clear timelines. I'm going to write from this time to this time every single day or every other day or whatever that looks like for you. And by this date, right? Some date in the future, I'm going to actually have it done. But knowing that you've set this date out, this is huge because now you have something to go for. Look, an arrow with no target will miss every single time. I have said this countless number of times, but I need you to really hear me on this one. If this is you, please, please, please create structure around your writing time. You need to prioritize it. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protective. It's protection. It's protecting your goal to get the book written. It's protecting all of the lives that you are going to change because of the book that you're going to write. So you need to get the structure, you need to get the discipline, and you need to decide when you're going to write. So that way, when you do write, you're not deciding, oh, do I want to like just get comfy on the couch? Or do I want to like actually write this book? You're like negotiating now. No. You already made the decision weeks ago, months ago, an hour ago that you were going to write during this time. So you don't negotiate with it later. You make it, you put it in your schedule and you keep it as a priority. So yeah, structure and a system schedule. Yes, prioritize 100%. Yeah, it's a big deal, Andrea. I completely agree. All right. If that was really something for you, put a number 5 in the comments. If you're like, whew, that's me. I really need to get to a schedule and really put up the systems and structure. Go ahead and put a 5 if that resonated with you. All right, now the point number 6 that I wanted to talk about is that successful entrepreneurs finish with support. Most entrepreneurs do not build companies alone. Books should be no different. And this is huge because nobody does anything big by themselves. Accountability is what's going to shorten your timeline. If you have accountability, if there are people who know that you are writing a book and they're keeping you accountable, this is going to shorten your timeline. So you're not like now taking the whole year to write it. You can now take a month to write it or something like that. It also, you're going to get feedback. So this prevents the spiraling, like, ooh, what do I got to do? I got to fix this. I got to fix it, right? And also the support is going to reduce second guessing. Oh, am I doing the right thing? Right? No, you could second guess yourself to death. I know, I've been there. This is me talking to me. But yeah, if you want to continue in that, if that's your happy space to continue second guessing yourself to never get the book done, then go ahead, do this alone. But if you want to do this in a shorter period of time, if you want the feedback to help you get clarity so that way you can get the book done, then you need to do this with guidance, with accountability. And my advice is that you're going to get the outside guidance before you feel stuck. That's the quickest way to do it. Don't do it after. If you know you have a book, right? Please contact me. Please, please, please message me. Tell me, Janelle, I need some help. I need some guidance. This is literally what I do is I give people guidance and clarity and a system of support so that way they can get their book done. I mean, I had a busy entrepreneur, a mom of a toddler, who has multiple businesses, and I was able to help her get the book out of her head onto paper and published within a matter of 4 months. I know how busy she is and how she does the spiraling thing. Thank you, Jax. If you're out there and you see this, like, shout out to you. If she wouldn't have done it that way, it would have taken her the whole year, if not 2. So believe me, you need to get the guidance before you feel stuck, not after. And if it's after, if you're already feeling stuck, I get it. I totally get it. It's not too late. I'm just saying, if you want to do it quicker, get it before, but it's okay. If you're now at the point where you're like, I feel stuck, I'm here for you, too. I can help you get out of that. All right. If that really resonated with you, put a number 6 in the comments so I know that resonated with you. So yeah, Andrea, we can get it done. We can really get it done. So I see a lot of 5s, some 4s. Awesome. Cool. So now let's talk about point number 7. Number 7 is the fix is clarity, not more discipline. So I think a lot of times people think, oh, I'm just really lazy. That's why the book isn't getting done. And I really want you to understand that that's not really it. It's really that you just have a lot of uncertainty and there's not a lot of clarity. Everything just seems like amorphous, almost like smoke. You're trying to make it tangible. You never try to grab smoke before and you try to grab it, nothing. You really need to make sure that you clarify your message, get really clear on what is the message that you're trying to make sure that your reader takes away after reading your book. I focus on this a lot with my clients. It's the biggest thing. And all of them tell me, like, as soon as we do this exercise, they're like, oh my gosh, like everything's so much clearer now. And they can move forward with speed because they have that clarity, right? Clarify who is the reader? Who is the reader that you need to read this book, whose life that you really are trying to impact? And then clarify the purpose of the book. If you have clarity in place, finishing becomes so much simpler. Actually, you'll do it with more excitement, with more joy even. Imagine writing a book with joy. Probably wouldn't even think that that's possible, but it's a thing. But you need to have that. You need to be super clear on your message. You need to be super clear on who the reader is and what is the purpose of this book. And this is something that I love to do with my clients. It's the reason why Jax was able to get it out so quickly, because we worked on like, who exactly is this for? We were able to create an outline from that. And then from that, it was just, let's go, right? Let's just move forward and learn the different skills to like, the things that you need to incorporate to make the readers want to turn the page and keep reading. And I was like, yeah, you can learn all those things later, but the most important thing comes with a clear message, understanding exactly who the reader is that you're looking to impact, and then the purpose of this book. All right. So if you've been with me before, I got a number 6. That is number 7. So if number 7 really resonates with you, go ahead and put a 7 in the comments. If you're watching the replay, same thing. I want to see the numbers so I know which one of these is really hitting you deeply, and you're like, oof, Janelle, that's me. So if you've been with me before, you know I love to recap. So let's recap. I talked about 7 different points around why entrepreneurs aren't finishing their books. And the first one we talked about is that a lot of times smart entrepreneurs overthink their book instead of writing it. And because they're overthinking it, you're trying to solve it. You're trying to revise instead of working towards progress. And then you confuse that, like thinking about it is momentum, and that's not it. The second thing we talked about is that writing a book forces identity decisions. And this can feel super scary because then you feel like if you finish the book, then now you've locked yourself into a particular identity that you're not necessarily sure is who you are. So just remember that this just captures who you are right now, and you're always going to grow. You're always going to develop. And so you can write a new book that when you're at this next stage. The third thing we talked about is that entrepreneurs struggle with narrowing down their message, right? You want the message to be for everyone, but what I want you to do is I want you to think of one particular reader and write the book for that one individual. Thank me later. This is going to help you get the book done. The fourth thing we talked about is that fear shows up as productivity. So again, you get fearful that like you're going to do it wrong. You're going to miss out on all the people that you think this could reach and all the things. You start to do research, you're like editing yourself, you're doing all these things, and it feels like stuff is happening, but all you're doing is in a loop. You're in a loop of not really getting the book done. You're in a loop of research instead of actually writing. And so I want you to just notice when it feels like you're doing work, but it's really you avoiding actually making progress on the book. Something to be aware of, so that way you can move forward and out of it. You got to name it to tame it. The fifth thing we talked about is that finishing requires structure, not motivation. Motivation rubs off like lotion. And I know as entrepreneurs, we count on it in order to get us through, right? The inspirational bursts and things like that. But you actually need structure to get it done. You need to create timelines to get it done, deadlines to get it done. The sixth thing we talked about is that successful entrepreneurs finish with support. You do it with guidance, you do it with accountability, and you do it with support. That is huge. So if you can get the guidance before you feel stuck, awesome. But if you feel stuck now and you're like raising your hand, yes, I need to get guidance. Again, let me know, put me in the comments and let's chat, because I would love to help you get guidance there. And then number 7, we talk about the fix is clarity, not discipline. So you need to get clear on your message. You need to be super clear on who your reader is, and you need to get super clear on the purpose for your book. Once you have those things, it'll become a lot easier to just zone in and follow this and figure this out with joy. Figure this out with joy. All right. So if you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this: you are not behind. You're not behind. You are not broken, and you are not failing at your book. Most smart entrepreneurs do not get stuck because they lack discipline. They get stuck because writing a book asks them to be clear, visible, and committed in a way business often does not do. So finishing your book is not about pushing harder. It's about choosing clarity over possibility and progress over perfection, which I know is super hard for us. So your book does not need to represent everything you will ever know. It only needs to represent what you are ready to stand behind right now. Not forever, just right now. And when you decide that, finishing becomes possible. Awesome. So again, if you found this valuable, please put a V in the comments so I know that you found this valuable. I will be back next week. Same time, same channel, you can find me. And please, if you feel like you want some of the support that I've been giving my clients, please let me know by putting me in the comments. I'll reach out to you so that way you and I could chat and see how I could possibly assist. This has been great. You guys know I'm super passionate about making sure that you guys write your book, because I know how many people you're going to impact on the other side of this. That's what lights me up. That's what gets me excited. That's why I want you guys to get the book done. And I say this not because I'm laughing at you, because it's knowing laughter. I know what it's like. I know the frustration. I've been there before, and I want to help you guys see yourselves on the other side of that so you can become a best-selling author. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next week. Bye.